Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tap here with Skip,
What up?
and today we have another episode of the podcast. This is episode 2 of the Sactown Breakdown podcast, and we have quite a few things to go over with you guys today. First off, I want to tell you guys that we have widely expanded where you can listen to us at. We're already on YouTube. We're already on Podbean. We're now on iTunes. I have a podcast on iTunes now, which is something I didn't think I'd say when I started this channel like a month ago. I didn't think that would happen so soon, but it did. Big ups to Skip for doing that for me. And Google Play, and we're going to be on Twitch soon as well. So Google Play, iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, there's all kinds of places to be listening to us. That means you have no excuse to not be listening to our podcast. And
right.
Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Tyler Lydon being signed by the Kings, some Summer League stuff. Skip hung out with the Kings Guard, the 2K team at the State Fair, so we're going to talk about that. The 2K ratings. Some of the 2K ratings have been revealed, so we're going to talk about that as well. So, Skip, how's it going?
Man, going pretty good, man. How you feeling, Tap? You got a podcast on Google Play and iTunes now.
I
How's that
know.
feel?
Well, I wasn't expecting it, and if it wasn't for you, you've been like getting the ball rolling behind the scenes on stuff that I like. One, I don't have time for, and two, you're probably smarter with it anyways. You probably easier for you to do it than me. I don't know, because you have more experience with podcasts than me. You've been on like a billion podcasts, all the different little podcasts you've done.
One or
So
two, yeah, one or two.
so I'm like, it's easy for me to defer to you and that kind of stuff. And we're on iTunes now, so you know what? I'll take it. It's awesome.
Heck yeah, man. Teamwork makes the dream work, man. But yeah, let's jump in. Tyler Lydon, how are you feeling about the King signing Tyler Lydon?
Well, honestly, he's somebody that like his name because if you play 2K, he's like the only card you can get in the first month of the game because he's like a silver card and he's not that good, or he's a bronze.
Right.
And then after the first month on my team, you've like never heard from him again because that's the only time you ever see him. He like hardly plays. He hardly played for the Nuggets. And I mean, here's the thing. He could be good. I basically see him as like a really poor man's Miritich type player. He's 6'10". He's not going to be super athletic. He's basically just there to shoot threes, and we kind of already have that with Bielitsa. But I mean, Lydon's he's definitely younger, a little more athletic. So I mean, I don't know. The one thing that it does kind of, I read something that said the Kings, the Bucks, and I think two other teams were interested in bringing back Costa, which I don't know if I necessarily wanted Costa back, but that tells me that they were like, okay, we'd rather have a young, possible talented shooter than just bring Costa back for veteran presence. So it kind of shows you where they're heading.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, it makes sense. You know, you and I were having the discussion when the signing happened on, the fact that when our coach is Luke Walton now, and
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched your videos on when Dave Yeager got fired and when we hired Luke Walton. So if y'all haven't seen that, go to Tap's channel, Tap2K,
I was fired up
and
about that.
yeah, man, that was interesting. Watch the videos on when Dave Yeager got fired and when Luke Walton got hired. But to that point, something that I noticed personally when Luke was in LA is that he didn't have all of the personnel that he needed for his system. Obviously he came from Golden State that season when they won the 73 games.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people probably have forgotten right now, short-term amnesia, but Steve Kerr was having those issues with his spinal cord, and his spinal cord fluid, actually, to be more specific, had been leaking after he had back surgery. So that was when, I want to say it was like 40-some games, right, that Luke had taken over. He was the associate head coach.
Yeah.
He took over as head coach, and then he coached the Warriors, and he was a big part of that 73-win season. Now, of course, people say, hey, you could have just rolled the ball out and any coach could have gotten that. I don't believe that, actually. I believe
Yeah,
that
either.
you could still have a high number of wins, but the coach matters when you call timeouts and certain things. And there was games that all of us, because remember we were watching every loss that Golden State might
Mm-hmm.
possibly take.
I remember I had
But
to do an inventory on a Sunday night and at work, and
mhm.
usually I work in the mornings, but it was a Sunday night I think, and they got beat by the Bucks, and I was like, oh my god, they got beat by the Bucks! I was like freaking out.
Right, exactly. So that's how much people were like, that's how good they were, and people were anticipating those losses. But so many of
Hmm.
those games, they fought back and made strategic adjustments where they were able to come back and save themselves from one of those L's in order to have the best. The best season as far as wins go, the most wins in a single season, regular season by NBA team. So Luka was a big part of that. Now, obviously, and it's odd enough that the system that Golden State was running at that time, before KD got there, and most of the first season all of the first season he was there, it started to change second season. But they ran a Princeton offense,
Yeah.
just like the Sacramento Kings ran a Princeton offense when we were in our heyday. It's very
Hmm.
interesting, and so pace, shooting, and defense was what Golden State was known for outside of the amount of talent that they had. When you hire Luke Walton as your head coach down in LA, you got to give him shooters. He had Lonzo Ball, and allow him to have the personnel to play defense. Well, they didn't have all that. They had the start of it. They had Brandon Ingram. They had Lonzo Ball. They had Julius Randle for a year, but they definitely didn't have the shooters and all of that stuff. And then was it a second year or third year with the team, you bring in LeBron James, who is a known coach killer and is going to hijack the offense and install
Yep.
Brown ball. So to me, all of the signings that we did with Rashawn Holmes, who we'll probably talk about for a brief second, with him officially signing today, Tyler Lydon, Trevor Ariza, bringing back Harrison Barnes, bringing in Dwayne Dedman, and I feel like I'm missing one other person.
Did you say Court
Cool.
Joseph?
Bringing in Corey Joseph, although he's not a great 3-point shooter, but
Yeah.
he does defend, and that's what Vlade is doing to me. He's saying, "Hey, Luke, you were down there, you didn't have everything you need. I'm giving you Tyler Lydon, I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that. Now you can't say maybe they're not the elite at what they do,
Hmm.
but I'm giving you the type of guys for your system." That's what the Tyler Lydon signing is a part of to me.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely gives us a shooter. Worst comes to worst, is say something would happen to be Elitsa, we'd have another shooting big man, and really, it seems like the Kings kind of have wanted. I mean, go back to Anthony Tolliver. He was a shooting power forward. They always
Yep.
have somebody on their team that fills that role, or they try to at least.
Hmm.
So I mean, Tyler Lydon, he is what he is. If he just stands in the corner and makes 2 threes a game, then I'll be thrilled.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, the short amount of time that he did play in Denver, he did shoot 40% from three.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, how many attempts per game? I'll let you go and find that out yourself. But,
Uh
you
huh.
know, he shot 40%, and I think it was somewhere around 40% he shot in college as well. So he's a known shooter, hasn't had the ability to have a lot of time, hasn't proven why he should be given a lot of time. But at the same time, if we do trade Bielitsa, or if or if he goes down, or if we just want to have someone who's younger and can run a little bit better with the team, we can throw Tyler Lydon in for small stints of time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, I mean, you mentioned Rashawn Holmes. We finally signed him today. I don't know why is it exactly that it takes that long to sign. Like, what's the deal with that?
So from what I understand, I was listening to Locked On Kings podcast with Matt George. So if any of y'all don't listen to that, check them out as well. And Matt was saying that I guess that there was some CPA, CBA,
CBA,
the collective
collective bargaining
bargaining
agreement. Yeah.
agreement. There was some of those stipulations that kind of had to be worked around. I think some like specific exemptions because of where he is and where we are in the cap and everything. So I guess everything was still good. It was literally just paperwork. And Ken Catanella, who came from the NBA league offices, he's, thank goodness Pete D'Alessandro is gone. Ken
Oh my God.
Catanella is our new CBA and cap space guru. So he was just working that out, and then we were finally able to get him to ink the deal.
I have a I have a great tweet I sent at Pete D'Alessandro once we when we traded Isaiah Thomas.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to read that tweet right now.
Yeah, I would like to hear that tweet right
Let's see,
now.
at P Doro. I still remember his at. Um, okay, here we go. Where's it at? Let me find it. I
Got it.
hope so this is 2014, by the way. What is it? This was 5 years ago, so I guess I was really, what, 17. I'm not that, I mean, I knew better. I,
Hmm.
I hope you get fired and live under a bridge, you owl-looking nerd. I hope you drive through Compton and somebody busts your kneecaps. July 11th, 2014.
Well, it didn't sound like you were upset at all at Pete
Yeah,
D'Alessandro tap.
yeah. I hope your Harry Potter. This is the same. Literally 4 minutes later, I also tweeted, "I hope your Harry, I hope your Harry Potter glasses break and you accidentally roam into traffic." Yeah,
Dude, okay, so for
uh,
anybody who does not remember Pete D'Alessandro being our general manager, one, thank God for your memory because you don't have to relive the trauma of those years. And two, yes, that is exactly how much people from Sacramento who were actual Kings fans detest Pete D'Alessandro. It was pretty much our detest for Pete D'Alessandro was summed up in Tap's tweet right
he
there.
traded Isaiah Thomas to the Suns for like some guy named Alex or Orakai or Araki or some guy that literally I don't think I've ever seen him. I don't think I ever saw a jersey number. I never saw nothing from him.
Nope.
I saw zero from. I don't even know where he is right now.
It
I
was
mean,
probably some draft rights, and that dude is
oh my
probably
God.
somewhere deep in Europe smoking cigars and sipping vodka right now, getting ready to get subbed into to a EuroLeague game.
And I'm so glad we got. Yeah, you're right. I'm so glad we got rid of him. I mean, oh, that guy was the worst. Anyways, I think we should move on. So Summer League is wrapped up. It's over now. The Grizzlies. Oh, and by the way, Luke Walton, he led the Golden State Warriors to a 39-4 start as the interim head coach of the Warriors. Just
Hey,
because we were talking
hey,
about that earlier. Yeah,
yep, good call.
Luke Walton's a beast, and that's let me remind. That's a start as interim head coach. He started the season with them. That wasn't just like Steve Kerr left for 2 weeks in the middle of the season. Luke Walton came back.
Right.
Or Steve Kerr left and Luke Walton coached like for 2 weeks in the middle of the season. No, like Luke Walton legitimately coached the first half of the season. I mean, I don't know. People that say anybody could have done that, they don't know what they're talking about.
The NBA don't work like that.
Yeah,
If you were watching those games, you would know they were literally getting beaten so many times. Adjustments got made, and they came back and won.
yeah. And to be honest, the one thing I learned from that season, and I've learned this in the playoffs anyways, watching the Warriors. Not only does Steve Kerr not really make adjustments that well, but Luke Walton was better than Steve Kerr at making adjustments when he needed to.
I actually
And
have to agree.
yeah, Steve Kerr, he just kind of sits there with his arms crossed and just lets things happen and just like kind of and he'll mumble to the assistant coaches about I'm so sick of Draymond and this and that. But it's like Luke Walton would actually make and actually to be honest, Dave Yeager didn't really make that great of adjustments in my opinion.
No, he was notorious for being stubborn, bullheaded, and just
Hmm.
being like, "Do the same thing that I told you to do in the first half."
Yeah.
That wasn't working, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing with when we got Luke Walton, I was like, thank God we got a guy that's more level-headed. He's not going to have a bias because we didn't draft Luka. We got a guy that will make adjustments when need be. Because that's the one thing. It'd be like we would when we got Harrison Barnes, we started a lineup of Fox, Buddy, Bogdanovich, Barnes at power forward, and then Willie. And I'm thinking like, and we were playing the Warriors that night. I'm sitting there
Right,
and I'm thinking like, so Bogdanovich is going to guard Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant started at the three
right.
and it didn't make any sense. And then the second half, he had the same lineup come out, and it just there's things that you could watch and immediately be like that doesn't make sense, and then it's like either he didn't want to change it because he was too stubborn, or he was dumb. And I know he's not dumb. He just
Yeah,
had an
so he was
agenda.
stubborn.
Yeah.
It was the same thing because I was wondering, like, what are some of the things that went wrong because things went sour in that Memphis front office real quick, like
Hmm.
real quick, and I wonder what that was. And it's been said, that pretty much that's what it came down to. Like Dave Yeager was very dogmatic. Now, I still liked Dave Yeager as a coach. Don't get me wrong. But we are pointing out facts. You know what I mean? It's a fact that he didn't always make the adjustment. It's a fact that he didn't connect with the guys or talk to the guys the right way. And even
Hmm.
me, I'll admit, I'm a fan of the whole, like earn your spot on the
Yeah.
squad if you're a rookie. But when you're a rebuilding team, it's not like that. If we were Denver, then that would make sense. We're already winning. We have a core, and then yeah, you work the new guys in, and they earn their spot. But when you're a rebuilding team, you grab grab the top talent, and since they're more ready to play, you put them in sooner so they get experience. And he just was, dogmatic about that. And, like I said, I wouldn't have mind seeing him coach the team one more season, but at the same time, I'm trusting Vlade. He saw the guy that he wanted. He saw a guy that will believe in the youth, is a little bit younger, not just in years, but in mindset and mentality as well, and can connect with them better. And I think I won't say that Luke is 100% our guy. I think he can be, but I think
Yeah.
it was the right time to move past Dave Yeager in a new direction.
It's funny, I would tell people at work that they would agree that Jaeger was like, the new guy shouldn't just automatically come in there and get minutes. And I'd be telling them like, this team's been trash for like 15 years.
Right.
Like we don't have any room to be picky.
Nope.
Unless it's the last 10 games of the season and we're trying to tank for a good pick. We don't
Right.
have any room to just not be playing good guys because we want them to earn their spot. I mean, and I guarantee you, if Harry Giles sat on the bench all year this year, he would be like, "Why? What? This doesn't make." If he sat on the bench and didn't get any starting minutes, if he got treated like garbage, he would be like, "What's the deal?" He'd be like, "This
Right.
team's been trash forever. I'm obviously very talented." It's like the players aren't dumb; they know the situation too. The players were fans before they were in the league. They were watching the game growing up. It's not like they don't know the Kings were trash. They know. I mean,
Straight up.
that's just I don't know. That's how it is. It seems like people think, oh, the players just at some point the players can't put up with being treated. Like you said, it's different for the Nuggets or the Spurs. Like the Spurs, Craig Popovich is actually notorious for like he'll draft someone and then hardly play him for like the first like 2 years.
Right.
And it's like, I'm glad we're not that, but at the same time we need the talent to play, and someone like Bagley or like Bagley didn't start. I think Bagley started 3 games last year, maybe if that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving on. We got into a tangent about coaches and minutes, but
Right.
Summer League, it's wrapping up, or it wrapped up. Like I said, the Grizzlies won the Summer League title, and Brandon Clark was the MVP. I didn't watch too much Summer League from the Kings, but I know you watched some. Just give us some of your opinions on things that happened with the Kings in Summer League and Summer League in general.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I do have to say that usually I watch more summer league too. Like
Yeah.
I'll watch all of the King stuff, and I'll usually watch like majority of the other games as well. And this summer league I haven't watched as much. I think free agency was so satisfying,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
still us like hearing about other different teams, and then the new NBA 2K, that I've kind of had enough to keep me entertained. But
Me too.
as far as we're concerned, it was pretty straightforward. Kyle Guy, as we discussed before when we were wrapping up the California Classic wing of the Summer League, Kyle Guy can shoot. He's a certified shooter. There's no question about it. He got signed to a 2-way contract. Another thing that I found out since the California Classic is he's also pretty gutsy. Like, he will go for things around the rim to finish and whatnot, and he'll make some pretty ballsy plays. And again, confidence and that attack mentality is so important when you're in the league, or when you're trying to get in the league. Now, because of his size and because of the talent he's doing some of this against, some of these moves to the basket he ain't gonna get away with in the NBA. Fact of
Yep.
the matter. But the fact that he has the guts to go for it is good, and that means that you know people know he might go to the basket. Sometimes you only have to brandish, your other weapon, your quick first step or whatever. You don't have to necessarily use it. So, Kyle Guy is a shooter and he's gutsy. Winyon Gabriel, he worked on his game. His IQ went up a significant amount. His talent and his skills went up quite a bit. His body needs to catch up, and I still think he's just right behind really being an NBA player. I think if he can really ball out one more time this year, I think maybe next season he'll be able to come in, and hopefully hopefully we don't have a need for him and he can go get a really nice contract somewhere else. But if we do have a need, I think he'll be ready at that time.
Yeah.
So that's my take on Winning Gabriel. And then we just had a few things. Samaj Kristen, who we had talked about before, he continued to be a really solid point guard out there. He just really needs a jumper because it did hurt the team when he wasn't able to to make shots. And then we had a breakout game from B.J. Johnson, who finally started to get some tick as they started to play some other different guys, and he had a nice game with 20 points and 5 rebounds. And that same game, Brandon Ashley, who finally got some tick, had 18 points and 12 rebounds. So that game was just like a really fun game to watch, a really good game and some nice plays. But overall, and then the last thing, Justin James. So Justin James ended up signing a contract. At first, Tap and I were kind of following on social media, and we're trying to find out what kind of contract he had. It is a 3-year deal, and it's pretty much a development contract. They know he's a project. Because we have so many picks and because we all a small market team, we do have to actually invest in developing those types of picks and players along with Vanya whenever, he decides to officially come over. So Justin James, 3-year contract. He's in it for the long haul. I'm gonna put him and Harry Giles on the same tier, and maybe even Kyle Guy as like the next up guys. Like they're all so young still, and they all are projects. But I don't think we're gonna abandon them or trade them off. We're gonna work on them all, I believe, and then they'll be next up for the Kings as we move into our next phase.
Sweet. So yeah, that wraps up for summer league. And usually I watch more summer league too. And I don't know if it was the fact that I went to the California Classic this year and that was like enough mediocre basketball to last me till next year. Or I don't know if that's what it was, but I was just like, and probably the off season too. And I was just like, man, I don't really feel like watching summer league. Like obviously Kyle Guy, he can shoot, and Gabriel is, maybe a year away from being pretty good or decent. Yeah. And that's really all you need to know watching this summer league team. Everybody else is really, not irrelevant, but they're not going to be on our radar in terms of the actual Kings. They're just going to be G League guys or play overseas. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, though. I love watching basketball anytime I can, but I think California Classic pretty much did me in for like the next month.
So I think that I agree, man. No, I'm right there with you. I think like it's an interesting time to be a Kings fan because the team's getting better, the franchise and the front office is getting smarter and making better moves. People are viewing us in a more positive light. We have a new arena, and then we're getting things like the California Classic. And then if you just take being a basketball fan, free agency, new NBA 2K, and then we have the current 2K. You're playing my team, I'm playing my career. It's just I think we're not starving as Hoop fans and as Kings fans this year. Yeah. We're feasting.
100%. So next, speaking of 2K, you got to hang out with the 2K team at the State Fair, Kingsguard, and I actually was gonna go, but I ended up going to the UFC event, UFC 153 or 54, I don't remember which one it was, at the Golden One Center. Uriah Faber was fighting on the card, and he won. That was awesome. And then there was a Jermaine Durandamy versus Aspen Ladd was the main event, and that ended in 16 seconds, which kind of sucked. It was an early stoppage, but that's why I wasn't at the State Fair. But you got to hang out with them, and I think you commentated a game or multiple games. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I did. And it's funny, oddly enough, after they left the State Fair, they ended up going to the UFC event where you were, Tap. So right. We both were in the building with the Kingsguard on the same day, just for two different reasons. But yeah, the California State Fair this year had esports room headed up by Jay of Capital Fight District. Jay is someone who puts on a lot of tournaments and different gaming events here in the Sacramento community. I know him through my podcast that I'm a part of called Video Game Bang, which you can, another podcast if you want to listen to more of my stuff. Video Game _Bang on Twitch, and you can find it on iTunes and all that stuff as well. But through him, I was able to get picked up as a host and commentator and MC for the NBA 2K tournament that they had in there. They did Fortnite, they did NBA 2K, they did that one Samurai game, Samurai Showdown. Was it Samurai Showdown? Yeah. So they did a tournament for that as well. And the NBA 2K team, the Kingsguard, who is the Sacramento Kings affiliate NBA 2K team from the NBA 2K League, they were in attendance. And yeah, I got to hang out with them. I interviewed them on stage, asking them some questions on what it's like to be a professional, gamer. what it's like to be in the NBA 2K League specifically. What are some of the challenges and sacrifices that people don't think about? What are some of the fun and funny things you get to do that sometimes doesn't make it to social media? And the Coach DJ was there as well. Roman was there. Worthing Colt, who's my favorite player, was there. Zach E was also there, who's our small forward, basically our main defender, our lockdown. Ball Like Seam, aka Simo, was there as well, and Roman. The only two people we were missing was BP, who's our point guard, who is simultaneously up for Rookie of the Year and MVP.
Damn.
We balling right now. And my man Youssef, who I also got to meet because I won a Kingsguard event called The Hunt. So if you guys aren't watching NBA 2K League, be watching it. But if you're not watching the Kingsguard play, be watching it because they do this thing called The Hunt, where one quarter in the game, when there's a home game, you go to their website. It's kingsguard.gg/the hunt, and then the court changes and they put a code word on the sidelines, and if you type it in fast enough, you could win. I won a PlayStation 4 Pro. I actually won it twice. I won some VC as well. One time for NBA 2K. So be watching the Kingsguard, but it was super dope, man. Like I said, got to interview with them, got to pass out some Kingsguard swag. You see my all game Kingsguard Sacramento shirt here. I got this hat from there, as well as do some commentary. Worthing Colt on Twitter, aka Colt, our center from the Kingsguard. He sat in with me as the tournament was going, and I did some. He and I did some commentary for the tournament and a little stream live on the California State Fair stream. So also follow them as well. And then they had to take off and go be with Tap. They had to go meet up with Tap for some secret business at the UFC event.
Punching people.
Right. Yeah, punching people essentially for sport. So the rest of the time I commented, I did the commentary for the rest of the event solo. Man, it was crazy. People were loving it. Like, I got a lot of good feedback from the lady that was running the fair along with Jay. She was part of the state fair itself. She was loving me. She asked me to come back multiple days. People in the event, I was saying stuff I didn't even know where it's coming from. I was making rhymes about if you need a play, you better call Clay or something ridiculous, but it sounded smooth in the moment, trust me. And people were laughing. The sound guys were laughing. Like, the dude on the stream was turning and snickering. Like, it was just a good time. Awesome. Sacramento was represented. All of the Kingsguard guys, they're great. Coach DJ wanted me to like really grill the guys on the questions. So I asked him some interesting things because he said it. And, this gives you guys some insight as well into what it's like. He said, hey, I want you to, give him some good questions because interviewing is part of the gig as well. If you think about being an NBA player, you got to do sometimes a pregame interview, sometimes halftime interview, sometimes postgame interview. Since they are, esports athletes, it's the same thing. So, it was cool just to watch something so young and so new with the NBA 2K League only being in the second year, watching them grow and blossom as NBA 2K League players. And, me and I enjoy emceeing and whatnot at time to time. I was just enjoying myself. So it was a good time, Tap.
Is there two questions? One, is there a way to watch that? Like, is it on Twitch, like saved or anything, or?
Yeah, if you go to the California State Fair Twitch channel, which I am looking up right now, you can watch the whole tournament and you can watch my interview with them. I think even some of me on stage with them and some of the interviews are on there. But it is it's CA State Fair on Twitch. So if you just type in CA State Fair and you go there, search through it. It was on July 13th. So I think it references the Fortnite tournament as well. But once you get into about an hour of the stream, that's when you'll actually see the 2K tournament starting. I'm gonna make a clip and I'm gonna see if I can get it as a highlight to where we might be able to use some of the content. But actually, I'm making a video. I'm making a video about my experience at the state fair. So on our YouTube channel, you guys will see some of that content. But for all of it, make sure you go and follow the California State Fair and watch it there.
Sweet. Okay. And two, when the 2K League first started, I remember there was something like the Sacramento Bee about how basically the Kings like rented a mansion and that's where they were all staying at and playing every day. Do they still live in the same place? Do you know?
I'm not sure if they live in the same place. Matter of fact, when I was talking to him, I asked Zachy about Rancho Cordova, and he was like, "Oh yeah. That's where the house was last year." So it sounds like they don't stay in that mansion anymore.
Okay.
They honestly, it was in Rancho Cordova. It sounded like so. They probably just wanted them to be closer. Most everybody is either in West Sacramento, Natomas, or already in downtown Sacramento. Unless you got big money. If you got big money, then that's when you start. Like when Chris Webber and DeMarcus Cousins and all them was living in like Rockland and
Granite Bay.
Granite Bay and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but everybody's on rookie scale contracts right now, so I think everybody's pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I'm definitely excited to check out that 2K League video. And like I said, I'm bummed out because like I mean, I had planned. I'm not bummed out because I really enjoy going to UFC, and I can't wait if there's ever like a big legit pay-per-view event here for UFC. I'm definitely going to that, no question. It was awesome. I've gone to like tons of WWE events back in the day, and I've gone to monster trucks when I was little, and I've been to concerts at Golden One.
Mhm.
The monster trucks were at Arco Arena, but I've never been to a UFC fight before, and that was my
Mm.
first time going, and it was awesome. And to be fair, it could have been like a boring card where every fight was a decision and there's like no action, but there was a ton of knockout, ton of knockdowns. That being said, I am kind of bummed though that I didn't go to the state fair because it would have been awesome personally for my Tap 2K channel, just to get my
Yep.
name out there for one,
Right.
but two, just beyond that, to meet the Kingsguard guys, and just have fun. Who knows? Somebody might have been dumb enough to give me a mic and let me commentate a game. Who knows what could happen? But yeah, overall, like if that happens next year, I'm going. I can't wait. It'll be awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. Things are going really well for Jay in Capital Fight District. Up there at the California State Fair, the name of the competition was the Bear Cup, and went really, really well. I'm 99% positive Jay will be up there again next year, and I don't see why the Kingsguard wouldn't be back. I met like some of the people that work with them behind the scenes, like Coach and like Jeremy. Like I got an even better relationship with those guys. The players did tell me that they are going to do some interviews. I know they're going to do an interview with us on Video Game Bang. I'm pretty sure I can get them to do an interview with him. What's funny is that like immediately after Seam followed me back, and Yusuf didn't make it. And I went on Twitter later. I actually don't have the Twitter app installed right now for sanity reasons. So I used the Safari app and I went to twitch.com and I saw I had some notifications, and Yusuf was like, "Oh, I missed my guy Skipping Tosh." Like that, he was bummed that he
Damn,
didn't get to see me. So I'm like, "Oh man, that's cool, man." Like,
that
oh,
is
and
cool.
Coach shouted me out too on Twitter as well. So it's cool to see. Like, they're super cool guys. They're super down to
Yeah.
earth. They're totally approachable. Colt and Seam are like Zachy's pretty funny too. Zachy is a little bit more like kind of snickery, kind of sarcastic humor.
Hmm.
Roman is kind of the same too. His humor is a little more quiet, but like Seam is pretty funny, and Worthing Colt is the loudest. Colt is super loud, so they were up there like busting jokes. They're cool guys. So nah, I'm gonna guarantee. I'm gonna make a bold guarantee as a brand new channel. You got to put your money down sometimes. You guys, we will have one, if not at least two, Kingsguard players on here, the Sactown Breakdown podcast, for an interview.
Sweet. So now that we got the King's Guard out of the way, let's talk about NBA 2K20. The
Yeah,
ratings
that.
were revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ratings, at least, it's like the top 21. It's kind of funny. Like they had the top 20, and then the top 20 went from like overall, the 88 overall, all the way up to the top, which is 97. And then, but they also released Ben Simmons overall, which is 87. So it's like they gave a top 20, but didn't want Ben Simmons to feel bad, so they released his too.
Right.
I don't know. I thought that was funny, but anyways, NBA 2K ratings. I mean, I don't have too much of a problem with it. There are some things that kind of annoy me, like I don't know. Do you have a list in front of you?
I got the list up, and I figured it'd be a good idea just to go down them, like kind of rapid fire style, and say yes or no if we agree. And then, and if we disagree with the rating, maybe we give like a 10-second answer why. How's that sound?
Okay, do you want to start at 1 or 20? Or are you going to name them off?
I'll name them off.
Okay,
Let's start at the bottom. Number 20, Blake Griffin with the NBA 2K rating of 88. Yes or no, Tap?
yes.
I will say yes as well. Number 19, Rudy Gobert with an 88.
No.
I am going to say no as well. I would like to see it a little lower. What about you?
Me too. He has too many holes in his game. Not good enough offensively. To me, he's like 84 to 86 range, if that. I don't know. Probably 84.
I was gonna say 85 to 86 range personally. Okay, so we feel pretty similar about that. Number 18, Donovan Mitchell with an 88.
That's fine with me.
Okay, I personally feel it should be a little lower. I think I would take Donovan down to a 87 just because last year he had a little bit more rough of a year
Yeah.
overall. So that's my personal opinion. Number 16, Jimmy Butler with an 88.
Oh, 16. I think 17 is Kemba. And
Oh, so
16 is Jimmy
my
Butler.
no, thank you, very good. Yeah. So and actually they're both 88. So number 17, Kemba Walker with an 88. Yay or nay?
He's not that great defensively, so it's like I feel like the defensive stats could bring him down. But 88, it doesn't bother me. He's still amazing.
Yeah. I man, he was peaking the year that we had. Excuse me, DeMarcus. I remember like that crazy overtime game we had where like Kimba dropped like 60 and DeMarcus dropped
Uh-huh.
like 50 something. That game was
Yeah.
nuts, man. Kimba as a 88 right now where we stand, I'm okay with it. But I do agree with you. His defense does take his notches down, but he fills it up on the offensive
Yes,
end.
he does.
Okay, Jimmy Butler was number 16, and yay or nay on 88.
No.
Okay, I agree. I say no. I think Jimmy Butler personally should at least be a 90. He's a primary two-way defender, elite, and he takes the big shots, man, in the playoffs. He never backs down in the moment. So
hmm
that's my opinion. What about you, Tap?
Jimmy Butler, as far as I'm concerned, he's not as good of a shooter as Klay Thompson, but he's a better scorer. He's more dynamic of a scorer. He can shoot the mid range. He's more athletic, and he's to me just as good of a defender. Klay Thompson's an 89. Jimmy Butler's got to be at least an 89 or a 90.
I agree. I mean, if they're gonna have, which actually we're almost there at Klay Thompson, so we might as well talk about them both. So number 15, Carl Anthony Towns with an 89. How do you feel about that?
I'm not a big fan of Karl Anthony Towns, so I mean, I understand he's talented, but I just don't like his demeanor. I just don't like him. I don't know. His face irritates me. So 89 is fine. I'll leave it at that.
I actually agree with you. I am not a big Carl Anthony Towns fan. I definitely see the talent and I see how skilled he is in a balanced attack offensively inside of the paint with the footwork. He can knock down the three, he can knock down the mid range, he can pick and roll. I can't stand his demeanor. I still question his conditioning highly and his defense. Again, when it's one-on-one defense and he's not the help defender, he can be pretty poor on defense. So I would have
Yeah,
given him an 88, but whatever, 89.
exactly.
Clay,
Me too.
Clay Thompson, number 14, 89. I agree. I think if they're going to put Clay at an 89, okay, keep Clay at an 89. Jimmy Butler needs to be a 90 or a 91.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it. Okay. Um, uh, and number 13, Russell Westbrook with the 90. Yay or nay?
I'll say yay, but I don't feel good about it. I feel like I could go up or down with him either way. It's kind of fun. It's weird. What about you?
I'll say this: Russell Westbrook was literally my favorite player in the NBA up until last year. Uh, he's an MVP who, regardless of how he got the stats, we can debate that all day. Fact of the matter is, he averaged a triple double for 2 seasons, and he got a 20-20 and 20 game one time too. I
For
don't believe
Nipsey.
he for Nipsey, right? I don't believe he should be a 90. I think he should actually at least be a 93, personally.
Yeah, I actually did make a video about this today for going on Tap 2K tomorrow. So it's kind of funny because you're saying a lot of the things I said in my video.
Hmm.
I did say that I think he should be a 91 or a 92, but also the thing with Russell Westbrook is that he's not a very good defender. He's more of like somebody that will play passing lanes instead of, he kind of roams around like a safety
Yep.
would in football. And it's like, to me, it's like he's so athletic. He should be able to defend guys one on one, and he should be able to be a good defender, but he's not. It's not because he's not athletic. He's got the athleticism. He just doesn't do it. I don't know why. So it's like that makes me want to bring him down. But then again, he's so good at everything else. I want to put him up, but then it's like his free throw shooting has gone down, his 3-point shooting has gone down. So then I'm like, okay, whatever, 90's fine.
Right. No, I see exactly where you're coming from, and I'll say this: that I know why he doesn't play defense as well, and I actually believe that's going to change this year. He doesn't play defense as well for two reasons. One, he didn't have to be the defender, especially like when he had Paul George. Like PG could be that guy. But the other thing really is the team as a whole. He knows that on the offensive end, he has so much more responsibility, whether he's checking up bad and ill-advised shots, because like you said, his shooting was so far down last season. And fact of the matter is, he's got to fix that, especially free throws.
Yeah.
But two, he also has low IQ. He's gotten smarter, but he's not a high IQ basketball player type guy. So if he's not that on the offense, he's definitely not going to be that on defense.
Yeah.
But here's my third point. I believe he's going to be a better defender this year for a few reasons. One, because he is a better defender out of him and James Harden. Two, I believe James Harden will be the point guard, and he can depend on James Harden to fill it up on the offensive end, so he can exert more energy on the defensive end. So that's what I think is going to be the change. And I know I get why people want to put him down, and literally he's not my favorite player in the NBA anymore because of how he performed last year, but these are individual player scores, not team-related scores. So that's where I say go ahead and make him a 92, 93
Okay,
tops.
hold on. I gotta.
Yeah.
So when Westbrook plays, what is his sidekick do? Whether it was Kevin Durant or Paul George, what's that person usually do on the offensive end when Westbrook has the ball?
When Westbrook has the ball, what do they do? When he has the ball, they usually don't move. They'll watch him.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna have to ask you to do for a minute, because I gotta go on a rant with Russell Westbrook. These Kings fans that wanted to trade for him.
Oh my!
I got so sick of seeing that on Twitter. Oh, okay. So somebody even commented and said trade for Westbrook on one of our videos, and I was like,
gosh.
oh my god!
I did see that
all
comment
over Twitter. I saw it. Carmichael Dave, and Carmichael Dave was pretty much burying anybody that suggested it. But if anybody thinks that the Kings should trade whatever package, I don't care if it's De'Aaron Fox and nothing but G Leaguers for Russell Westbrook, you're nuts. You have lost it. It is
psycho.
Okay, Russell Westbrook is like a Mike Conley, or De'Aaron Fox is like a Mike Conley, Russell Westbrook hybrid.
Yep.
And he's 10 years younger.
Yep.
Why would we ever? And he's got a
much lower contract too.
A much lower contract, a much better jump. The thing with Russell Westbrook is his jump shot. He's so straight up and down. He looks like when he jumps, his jump shot, it looks like he's on a pogo stick. It's really weird. And
it's like a 2x4 plank, like completely straight.
De'Aaron Fox has a much better stroke than Russell Westbrook does. That even though Fox isn't the greatest shooter, for one, he was a better free throw. I think Westbrook shot 65% in the free throw last year, and Fox shot 72%.
Yeah.
I mean, De'Aaron Fox has the kind of jump shot that even though it's not that great right now, it's not completely broken. Russell Westbrook will probably never be a better three-point shooter. And the fact that people wanted to trade for him just because he's a name, well, let me tell you something. In 5 years, De'Aaron Fox is going to be the name. In 5 years, Bagley and Giles and Buddy, they're going to be the names people are talking about in the same light as Russell Westbrook. And the fact that people wanted to trade for him just because he's Russell Westbrook, that I was like losing my mind seeing the tweets. I mean, oh my God, I couldn't take it. I'm sorry. I had to go ISO 1-on-5 right there for a second. Make you stand on the wing like Kevin Durant or Paul George or Victor Oladipo too. Just stay on the wing, watch me. Let me go 1-5. Yeah, I'm good now.
Hey, that's exactly why we created the Sactown Breakdown podcast. And look, as much as we like to do this for y'all, and we do love to do this for y'all, me and Tap sometimes just got to get something off our chest. So this is exactly why we created this podcast. Hey, do you need another few seconds to spew anything out? Or are you good, Tap?
I think
are you rubbing your earlobes right now? Woosah, woosah.
I think I'm good. It's just, man, those Westbrook trade for Westbrook tweets were I was like wanting to throw my phone. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And people go into the trade finder and they just or the, not Trade Finder, that's 2K. They go into the trade machine and they just type in any trade that will work salary wise, and they go, oh, let's do this. It's like so what we're gonna trade Fox and who else has a big contract? I don't know. Maybe
Uh,
Bielitsa and Bogdanovich
yeah,
and
Bogey got
Bagley
one.
for
Yeah,
Westbrook.
yeah.
Why?
See, and that's something that I've seen it on two sides. So my roommate, who some of y'all may or may not know, Laker Leak. He's a Lakers fan. He I've seen this with him and our other buddy Black Moses from our old No Hezzy Hoopcast. Um, but specifically from back Moses, when you have like a history of greatness, you will get a what I termed goat thirst. You'll just be thirsty for a goat. Now, on the flip side, if you're Sacramento Kings and you are now used to mediocrity, you get big name thirst. You'll do
Mm-hmm.
anything for a big name, even if that big name will derail the great drafting, player development, coach hiring, front office decisions that you've made. You will want to derail that whole thing for someone who, as you can see, on his own accord, if he's the head guy, will not get you a championship. You can't, what one time, yeah, they did get to the finals, right? But past that, with Kevin Durant, arguably the greatest scorer of all time, you can't get past a wounded Warriors and what, or you go up on the series and the Warriors and you can't come back. Yeah, man. Like I said, he was my favorite player, but I can defend Russell Westbrook's as a player, but I can't defend the results. The facts are the
Mm-hmm.
facts. So nah, anybody who's wanting to get Russ, look, I love you. You're crazy.
And let me backtrack a little bit so I don't look like a complete jerk here. Either the people that suggested that are either little kids or someone that's a very, very casual NBA fan and they don't really watch the games. They just know Russell Westbrook's always in the leaderboards they show of stats, and they're the kind of people that look at stats and they don't think for themselves. They hear what Stephen A. Smith says and they hear
Right.
what Skip Bayless says and they think, oh, okay, well, yeah, Russell Westbrook's great. Oh, why aren't we trading for him? It's not that
Right.
easy. It's not that simple. And I don't want to be a jerk. Like I said, the people I'm talking about either little kids or someone that doesn't really know what they're talking about. I don't want to be mean, but I had to.
Yeah. Facts are facts. But anyway, okay, so Russell Westbrook, we've decided we might do a whole nother side podcast on Russell Westbrook here soon.
We've decided
Okay.
Russell Westbrook is a 2K rating.
There we go. You heard it here first. Okay, so number 12, Nikola Jokic as a 90.
Um, that's a no for me.
That's a no for me too. I'm gonna give him a firm 89. What about you, Tap?
I'm gonna give him. Honestly, I think Nikola Jokic is probably the most overrated player in the league. That's my opinion. I can't stand. I
Mm.
mean, he's great on offense, but him and Nikola Jokic and Karl Anthony Towns are. I'm gonna start naming them the Molasses Brothers because that's what they look like on defense. Their feet, oh my God, it's terrible. They can't move their feet at all. Jokic, if you watch Jokic play defense, half the time it's like he's like falling over his own feet. And like I understand he's like, oh, the triple double and he can pass the ball. He has a nice, for me, it's like say you have Paul Millsap on the elbow setting a screen, or Paul Millsap on the wing setting a screen for Jamal Murray, and then basically Nikola Jokic has the ball and he's just standing there, and Jamal Murray comes off the Paul Millsap screen and hits a three, and then Jokic gets the assist, and everybody praises him like he's some great player. It's like he's literally just standing there with the ball and passed it. It's not like he created some fantastic Magic Johnson pass, some open shot. Like I think a lot of the stats get overrated with Jokic, and I understand that he's talented, and I liked him when he first came up, but more it's not even as much with Jokic. It's more just the media hype is what annoys me with some of these players. Everybody hypes up Jokic like he's like the second coming of uh I don't know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that passed more or something. It's just I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to not make this a rant on every single player we talk about. But Jokic and Westbrook being next to each other isn't helping my cause any because I can't. I like Westbrook. I can't stand Nikola Jokic. I can't stand that guy. But
Word.
I'd say 88 would be where I'd
Eight,
put him.
88. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I could totally agree. I think the stats. are a little overrated. He is a high IQ player, and
Yes.
I think that leads to maybe a little more hype than he deserves, but I understand what you're saying. Okay, so 88 for you, 89 for me on Jokic. Number 11, Kyrie Irving, 91. Yay or nay?
No.
No? Okay. For me, I'm going to say no as well. I'm going to put Kyrie at a 90. What about you?
Same with me.
Okay, 90. Cool. All right, so now we're in the top 10. So number 10, Joel Embiid at 91. Yay or nay?
No.
Okay, I'm going to say no as well. I'm going to put Embiid at a 90. Where do you have him?
Same with me.
90? Okay, cool. All right, Dame Lillard at a 92. Yay or nay?
No.
No? Okay, I agree. No, I'm going to put Dame at a 91.
I
What
was gonna
about
say
you?
90 or 91.
Okay, cool. And Dame was number 9. Number 8, we got Paul George at a 93. Yay or nay?
It doesn't bother me, but I like it.
I'm going to say
It's hard because he
I'm
had such a good season last year. He was great until he hurt his shoulder. Like if you put him
yeah.
up higher, I would get it. Oh,
Yeah,
that's where you're going.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nay. I'm gonna give him a 94. He was in serious runnings for MVP
Mm-hmm.
last year,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna give him that. Number 7, Anthony Davis with 94. Yeah or nay?
It's fine. Yay.
I'm gonna put AD down, and I'm gonna give him a 93.
Okay.
Number 6, Steph Curry with a 95. Yeah or nay?
Yay.
I'm gonna say yay too. 95 is fine for Steph, especially this season. What I liked is that in the postseason he didn't completely disappear. He actually and he actually played really well at times in the
Mm-hmm.
postseason. So I like that. Number 5, James Harden with a 96. Yay or nay?
Um, I'm okay with it. I mean, his defense is awful. So, but I mean, at this point, 2K is not gonna, you know, 2K base. I've come to the conclusion 2K bases their ratings off of stats, not the eye test,
Right.
because James Harden's defense is not very good, and defense is half the game. But 96, I'm not mad about it. It is what it is. It's fine.
Okay. I am actually going to say nay. I would actually put Harden up one level, 97. Now, this
Okay.
is interesting for me because I was one of the people banging the take the D out of his name. He should be James Harden. This man don't play no defense. Now, here's the thing, though. What's interesting this season is I'm not going to call him a good defender. I'm not I'm not gonna do that to myself and my reputation. But
Yeah.
he played much. Now remember, I'm saying this because he was this bad at defense. He played much better defense this year, and I think he was up there with steals as far as like league leaders. And yeah, I get it. Like he's got long arms. He was getting into passing lanes and stuff. But there were times where he straight up was like, if they needed a steal, kind of like Fox, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Fox is actually a better defender, but you know how like there would be obvious parts where it's like is De'Aaron even playing defense? And then
Yeah.
we'd get in the clutch in games, and he would like make a play on the defensive end. He would just like get steals whenever he wanted them. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what James Harden was doing a little bit more, but he played such atrocious and putrid defense 2 seasons before, and he was so incredible on the offensive end. I think not as many people noticed the shift. So I would actually put him up one, and I would give him 97. And I'll tell you why. It's because I believe he had a better year than some of the people above him on this list. Number
So
4.
let me say
Mhm.
something about Harden real quick.
Sure,
To
sure.
me, I can't stand the way he plays with the ref baiting. I really don't like it, and I will give him credit. James Harden's defense, his positive defensive plays, other than the steals, are kind of like Carmelo back in like the 2012, 13, 14, that era when like the last couple of years Carmelo was good. He could
Right.
actually play. He could actually play some post defense because Carmelo
Right.
was kind of underratedly strong. And James
Yeah.
Harden, if in the post in the mid range area when he's playing defense, he can actually kind of like push
Bully
guys
people.
around a little bit.
Yeah, he's big. He's big. Look at his arms. Anybody who forgot what James Harden looks like, look at his arms and his chest next time.
hmm and he's 6'5". He kind of has a low center of gravity. He's a decent defender down low in the post. Like if someone's trying, like Kevin Durant or someone's trying to post up on him, it's
Yep.
not as easy for Kevin Durant to post up on James Harden as you would think it is. And
Right.
Carmelo was kind of a decent post defender back in his day, but get him on the perimeter and they're gonna get smoked.
Right. Yeah.
But
Isolation Island.
yeah, James Harden, I don't really like the way he plays in terms of the ref baiting and the shooting 7 of 23, but going 16 of 16 from the free throw line, stuff like that. But I mean, and then you hear people say, well, it's the refs are allowing it to happen. The refs are allowing him to, he's just taking advantage of the refs, and it's I don't know. Guys like Kawhi and KD don't need to do that. So I'll leave it at that.
Yep, no, I'm with you, and I'll say something else that was interesting about last year. Not that he didn't do it at all, because it's not completely gone from his game, but because like I said, I was one of the biggest on banging that drum about like this dude Harden, this and that. Another thing he did way less of this year was ref baiting.
Mm-hmm.
Like and because I specifically remember this. I know you can't see me right now, Tap, but what I remember for the people that are listening, I remember him waiting for a pick and roll at the top, going ahead and going towards the hoop, putting the ball out like this. I'm gonna turn sideways a little bit, putting the ball out like this, and rocking his head back. And
Oh
that
my
big
God.
beard and that big mohawk
Oh.
always got the foul call. If you watch again this year, he wasn't doing that as much. He was, and I was surprised. I was like, okay, even if he's not cocking his head back, he still won't at least like put the ball out so people can slap his hands. He wasn't even doing that as much this year. So but he instead he was breaking something else. He was breaking the game with those step backs.
Mm-hmm.
That gather with
Yeah.
that step back that other
That
people were getting called travel for, but he was getting away with it.
that beard and that mohawk is like when a professional wrestler has long hair, so when they get punched, they can sell the punch by whipping their hair.
Yes,
That's what the
yeah,
beard and the mohawk is. He whips his head and it makes it look like there's more movement
like
going on.
contact.
Yes.
Yeah, Patty Mills does the same thing. I remember when Patty Mills grew his hair out more, and then he got the dreads. Every time someone blew on Patty Mills, he whipped his head back. And I was like, "Oh, Patty Mills, you're getting in the James Harden train." But anyway, for worse come to worse, I would actually put him up one more. That would be my axe to grind on
Okay.
that particular rating. Number 4, KD 96. Yeah or nay?
No.
Okay. I am going to say yes, and tell me what your answer would be on that.
Actually, let's wait, and I want to knock all four out, the last four, because I would rearrange the whole four we have here.
Okay, that's cool. Number 3 is Giannis with the 96 as well.
No.
Okay. Number 2 is Kawhi with the 97.
Yes.
Okay, and then number 1 is LeBron James with the 97. And from what I heard when I was watching the reveal video, LeBron beat Kawhi by something like 0.3 or just point 0.3.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
So Tap,
that one's a
your
no for
rebuttal.
me. Okay,
Okay.
so I would put Giannis at
Mm.
98.
Okay.
I would put him at number 1. Now I know his shooting lacks, but to me he was the MVP of the league. He was a beast, and there's actually an interview, like I think yesterday, that came out or something that said Giannis admitted that he's only about 60% of what he thinks he can be as a player, which tells me he
Oh
has the right
wow.
mindset.
Right.
And someone like Ben Simmons, I have a sneaking suspicion that Ben Simmons will never be a better jump shooter.
Oh
That's
no no
just
no not
his
not very
demeanor
much
and how he
better at all.
acts.
Yep, I agree.
He seems like he doesn't care. He kind of has a little Andrew Wiggins about him. Although Andrew Wiggins seems like he's half asleep whenever you talk to him. Uh,
Or whenever he plays
yeah,
defense.
but Giannis seems like he's hungry and wants to get better. So with that being said, say Giannis comes out next year and he has an amazing 3-point shot, or just decent, amazing for him, a decent 3-point shot. I think he's going to be, unstoppable. But that being said, I would put Giannis at 98. I would have
Okay.
left Kawhi at 97,
Hmm.
and I would have probably put Kevin Durant at. I would have kept him at 96,
Hmm.
and I would have put LeBron at 95 because his defense has been atrocious for about a year and a half now. And really, the thing with LeBron is that his stats still look like he's a dominant player because of how he plays, getting the rebounds, getting the assists,
Right.
passing it to, you name it, all the shooters he's had on his teams over the years, getting the assists, and then him basically like getting rebounds, although he'll average like 8 rebounds in a season, but only have like 2 point something box outs a game. Like he
Right.
basically just goes and grabs rebounds real quick when they're free. It's like
Hmm.
he gets the stats to give his fanboys the illusion that he's still a top player, but if you really watch him, his athleticism's gone down a little bit. His defense is non-existent.
Hmm.
To me, that deserves a couple points down on the 2K rating. But that's just me. So the top five, I would have went. Giannis has a 98, Kawhi has a 97, and then probably Durant, Harden, LeBron, or Harden,
Okay.
Durant, LeBron, whatever. You could flip Durant and Harden.
That's fair. For me, I would swing it only. Well, I don't want to say only slightly different. I would probably swing it as well. I'm gonna go Kawhi number one with 98. I would go uh, Giannis number two with a 97, or actually, I would give Giannis a 96.
Okay.
I would have KD at a 96. I
Okay.
would have LeBron at a 95.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So we're in
that's how
agreement on
it's.
that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, and the reason why I put Kawhi over Giannis is because Kawhi does have the better jump shot overall, and especially
Yes.
the 3-point jump shot. One on one, I do feel like Giannis is harder to defend. But if we're talking about overall and like a even in a basketball setting, but still grading only the player by himself, I feel like Kawhi gives his team overall a little bit better of a chance to
Mm-hmm.
win, and
Yes,
oddly enough,
100%.
they won the ring. So yeah, that would be my top five.
Yeah, I mean Kawhi. I mean, if you look at these players on the screen here, defense is half the game. People forget that. That's
Hmm.
why we gave Paul George essentially the same or higher rating. We thought he deserved a higher rating. We think Kawhi either is in the right spot or deserves a higher rating because defense is half the game, and LeBron doesn't play defense. James Harden has gotten better, like we said, but he's not a great defender. Kevin Durant is
Right,
a really good defender, when his Achilles isn't torn.
right. Yeah, KD's
Giannis,
defense got so much better because he wasn't the best defender. He wasn't as good of a defender as we thought he should be for his length and his body. He got
in
to Golden
OKC,
State. Ooh, my
yeah,
goodness, he turned that around at Golden State.
yes, he did. And Giannis is more of a help defender. He's not Giannis, and that's kind of the thing with his offensive game too. He's not very good at moving laterally or shuffling his feet or stuff like that. Giannis's only two moves are like dribbling the ball straight ahead, and it's either going to be a spin move or like a big giant Euro step. He doesn't really have like footwork and moves and in terms of like shuffling his feet to get in front of someone on defense or even like a little fadeaway or something like that or some sort of move where he kind of lacks footwork. But with that being said, Giannis is a good help defender. He's a good last line of defense. If all else fails, Giannis will just jump in there and block the ball into the 10th row of the crowd.
Yep.
So, I mean, I value the defense, and James Harden and LeBron James don't have the defense. So that's why my list is what it is. But overall, I mean, I can't complain about it too much. I
Yeah.
definitely
No.
think
Hmm.
I don't know. I definitely you are right. Kawhi is more of a dynamic offensive player, and he does give your team a better chance to win. So I wouldn't bother me if they put Kawhi as a 99. I'd be like that's I wouldn't care. I'd be like that's whatever. But I
Right.
mean, yeah, I agree with your list for the most part.
Right on, man. Yeah, and yours. I mean, the reasons that you had for why people were up and down makes complete sense to me. So 2K should have looks like to start. I think 2K has a good interesting base. Real quick, I'll throw out some honorable mentions because there were a few other lists. So that was the top 20. They also did a where is it at here? Oh, okay, sorry, it was a little bit further up. So they did top 3 point, or excuse me, nothing but green. Top shooters, 3 point. Steph Curry was number one with the 99 from three. Number two was Klay Thompson with the 97 from three. Number three was Joe Harris with a 94. Number 4 was JJ Redick with a 90. And Tap, who do you think number 5 was?
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield. Yeah, Buddy Hield, number 5 with a 90 from 3. So I love the fact that 2K is putting some respect on his name. I'll tell y'all right now, too, if y'all play 2K and y'all play the King Squad, y'all should already know Buddy is wet from behind the line.
Yes,
He's lightweight, can't miss. All right, so that was top 5 3-point shooters. So next class, top 5 rookies. I'm going to go in descending order this time. So, well, actually ascending. So Darius Garland, number 5 with the 77. Is this DeAndre Hunter?
Yes.
With a 77 at number 4. Number 3, RJ Barrett with the 78. Number 2, Ja Morant with a 79. And number 1, Zion Williamson with the 81.
Pretty run of the mill. Pretty much all the rookie ratings are the same every year. Just like you could take out who got picked last year for number 1? Why can't I think of it? Was it Luka? No.
It was Ayton.
Ayton, duh. Basically, It was the same last year. It was Ayton, 81, and then the rest were in the high 70s. It's the same every year, so nothing too surprising. I was talking, though, on my video I made tomorrow, I was talking about how it's kind of funny, like, say Zion was bad the first, 2 weeks of the first, 2 months of the season. Mm-hmm. He's only, 10 overall points away from them dropping him to, a 71. Think about, how crazy that would be. I feel like 2K wouldn't do that. But just the fact that 81 isn't that high for how hyped he is, But obviously he's never played a game before, so they're not going to give him a 90.
Right. And I think the limited amount of time that he did play in Summer League, I think there were some apparent holes and gaps that we saw in his game, that his game has a little bit more holes than I anticipated. I think he's going to have a little bit rougher of a season than we all thought, and it's because of his size. And I don't mean, how everybody was talking about how much weight he's gained. I don't necessarily mean that, but I mean, even if he was more chiseled out right now, it's because he's shorter for his position, but he's as athletic as he is, he's not as laterally quick. So I think he's going to struggle at power forward a little bit, and I think he's going to struggle at small forward a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Zion. But what you call it, Ronnie 2K couldn't help but to point out, I know people are probably going to be mad about the Zion thing, but LeBron was a 79 when he came in. So so on to the bigs. Best of the bigs. Number 5, Rudy Gobert with the 88, as we said before. Karl Anthony Towns with the 89 at number 4. Number 3, Nikola Jokic with the 90. Joel Embiid, 91. And AD, number 1 with 94. And that was pretty much what they shared with us. Anything else we're probably going to find out when the game launches. But they'll keep rolling out little bits of content to keep us tantalized until September rolls around. But
I wonder
until
what Boogie
then,
Cousins is going to be.
Oh, DMC, I can't wait to see what his rating is.
He's gonna be
that's going to be interesting.
A 2. I love playing with Boogie. He's one of my go-to players. Him, Melo, and really Boogie and Melo are the 2 players I always dominate. If I'm playing with my friends or whatever, I'll pick a Melo team or a Boogie team. But Boogie, I feel like he's gonna be make maybe a 82, 83-ish, which is gonna be weird.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna be in the low 80s. I don't even think they'll have him in the middle of the pack or in the mid 80s. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as they bring out more news, we will talk about Tap is big in the NBA 2K content creation scene. I'm a player as well, and I'm really into the 2K League more so, and then playing my player here and there. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm pretty sure I'll be playing more my team because I'm doing stuff with Tap, and he might be playing some more my player. We'll see. But as more things with the game comes out, more news, we'll talk about it here, and we'll talk about the Kings Guard here because it's just more types of content, and people that already know Tap can come and listen in for the 2K content, and then people that know me, same thing, come listen for the 2K content and the NBA content.
100%. Well, the podcast, what are we at, an hour and 15 minutes right now?
Yeah. Well, I think we're 110.
What? Hey, did you send me something? Somebody sent me a picture. It's a number that I don't have in my contacts, and it's a picture of a doggy bed that looks like a king's snapback, but it's not a snapback, it's a doggy bed. Did you send me that?
No, I don't
Okay,
know
I have
who
no clue who
that
this number is.
is.
Obviously, they know me. I don't know them. I have no clue who sent me this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it up on the webcam just so you guys don't think I'm absolutely crazy. Do you see that? I mean,
Whoa, that's a trip.
you
Yeah, it
see it?
looks like a snapback, but it's like yeah, it's a doggy tent.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
that's pretty
yeah.
crazy.
I don't know who sent me that. It was just I really so you text me some notes,
Hmm.
I think, didn't you? And then I got that like right after. So I'm thinking like, did he just send that or?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a thing. Yeah, so anyways, that kind of threw me off, but it's Kings related, so there you go.
Yep.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna just call the podcast there. We talked about a lot more than we anticipated, which is fine, no big deal. I just, man, I'm still trying to get my blood cool a little bit from that Westbrook rant. My veins almost popped out of my head there.
Russell Westbrook is a very controversial topic on any podcast that you bring him up on. So, nah, man, I completely understand. I'm always down to have a Russell Westbrook conversation.
Well, guys, that is the podcast. Before we end it off, before we end it, I want to shout out some people that have either subscribed recently or commented recently, or viewers that have been keeping up with us, because we're nothing without the viewers, and you guys deserve the shout out. So here we go. New followers: Sam Lopez, GMTV _ Levi, Matthew Heather, number 7, which is my boy. He's me and him have done collaborations before on Tap2K. He's a 2K YouTuber. He's got like, it's funny, when me and him collabed, I had like 200 subscribers more than he did.
Hmm.
And now he has like 3,000, and I just went over 1,000. So he tripled me in no time.
Nice.
Norwal Music, Ace JB, and Donovan Hall. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. And I just wanted to point out to you guys too, we were gonna get to a viewer question this week, but I think we'll just hold that off and maybe do a bunch on a podcast in the future.
Yeah.
If you guys want to send us any questions, either comment in the latest podcast below in the comment section, or you could send us an email at Sactown Break, or I always say at because I think of Twitter. But the email is sactownbreakdown@gmail.com. If you guys just want to send in like almost like a mailbag type thing, just send us questions, and we'll, at the end of the podcast, last 15-20 minutes, we'll go over viewer questions, answer whatever you want in terms of like giving us stupid trade scenarios or whatever you want to ask us. We're down to answer the question. So if you guys want to do that, go ahead and send in your questions, and I'll be interested to see what you guys send in. I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
No, I just wanted to remind everybody to, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast, don't forget to check us out on YouTube. We have a Twitch channel coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. You can find, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can find us wherever podcasts are listened to. Podbean is our primary website.
Oh my God, we can say that now. Ah!
We can actually say that. Yeah, we are on Apple Podcasts / iTunes. We're in the Google Play Store, and we're working on getting the podcast and Spotify and some of the other services as well. We'll be doing some live streaming content. I know I will, and I'm pretty sure me and Tap will be doing something together as well. And like I said, yeah, join our Discord. We got it going. I'll put the link to it in the podcast link. It'll also be down in the description of the videos. All of the links will be down there. So come in. You can have an ongoing conversation with us there. Occasionally, we'll hop in there, every now and then if we got a little bit of time, and have a discussion. And you guys can actually listen in on like a more exclusive discussion that we have inside of there. And also just, talk about NBA 2K. And then I'll also put a suggestion as well as a question section in there, so you can send us questions via the email, the sactownbreakdown@gmail.com, and then you'll also be able to plug them in in there.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for the second episode of the Sactown Breakdown podcast. Like he said, thank you guys so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that, and we're going to keep pumping out 2K content for you guys here on the channel. So stay tuned.